The following is my in-studio interview with competitive cyclists Keri, Erica, and Tish, who were riding in the mountains of Washington State when two cougars leapt out of the woods.
What I saw is a flash of movement on my right side. I turned my head and I saw the face of a cougar.
One of the cougars tackled Keri off of her bike. With her face in its jaws, it held her to the ground.
Are you with the person that was attacked?
Yeah,
Where's the cougar at?
it's on top of her. They're killing it.
The rest fought with the cougar for over 45 grueling minutes, and you won't believe how they survived.
Kill it. You can't kill it. Somebody hit her with the rock again.
Viewer discretion is advised. So take me back to the beginning. What happened? Where were you at? What were you doing? Yeah.
Tish called the ride together, so she should start it.
I will. Okay, so this is really interesting. So I live in North Bend, Washington, which is about 31 miles east of Seattle, and I love having people over and visiting. So I had a dear friend of mine that was going to come visit, and like my friend Rick was out like a year earlier, and we go on the Magic Carpet Ride, which is in Campbell Global, which is a tree farm. So knowing my friend was coming, we were part of the Recycled Cycles cycling team out of Seattle, and so we had just went to like that Sunday evening, like, let's get more involved. Let's get more people doing things, what we need to do. So I put an email out that we were going to do a Magic Carpet Ride, easy edition, right? And let's meet at my house, everybody welcome, and we're going to do Magic Carpet. So I just put it out there on the email, and, you know, I'm going to stop from there. And then once you'll answer, then I can talk about when you got there. So, you know, how did you find about it?
Well, this was my first ride with Recycled Cycles after I rejoined the team. I was off the team for a year because I was too busy with my board duties. I was on the board of PAWS. And so I rejoined the team, and this was my first ride back and my first time meeting Tish when we met at her house to do the ride. And my second...
You didn't know each other before this day?
I never did.
I never knew Tish before this day, and it was my second ride with Keri.
Oh, wow. So you obviously are lifers at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they all come to my house. They get to my house, and, you know...
Blustery weather.
Oh, it was crazy wind. Like, in North Bend, we're in this wind tunnel on, like, the I-5 or the I-90 corridor. That I'm at the foothills of the Cascade Mountains.
But as we got out there, the sun came out and it was beautiful. We took
gorgeous.
pictures and you were having fun and talking about what a beautiful day it was. And, you know, just 5 girls, you know, it was kind of, usually there's a guy or two that comes along with us. But, you know, this time it was just us 5 girls, and it was just amazing. A beautiful day.
Every time we go over there, I always reminisce because like 2 years earlier, I broke my hip.
In the same
same area.
Oh, gosh.
Was
same
it Magic
February.
Carpet?
No, that was the pelvis.
It was
That's when I broke
okay.
my pelvis.
We've had some adventures back there. But this tree farm is not a little tree farm. It's miles and mountains.
Hundreds of acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get out there, and then we get, you know, through the roads talking, you know, et cetera. And then there's one picture that's been all over the media that we're at the Yellow Gate and our legs are all up and we're all like, hey, love you,
I've
ladies.
seen it. Yep.
Yeah, so...
That was the last time we had a bite to eat, too, before everything happened. That was our last bite of food. Yeah, was like and we were mile 10, and we all took a bite of our bars or whatever we had, and that was the last
How many people
thing
were
we
on
had.
this besides you guys? Was there
Just us 5.
But there wasn't other teams or anything else? Or
No.
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet.
It's
No.
pretty remote. There's no people out there. And we were really shocked when we did, you know, later in the story, when we had people come, you know.
And you'll typically, like, when you go out for adventure, and, like, we're talking about Magic Carpet, but we're talking hundreds and hundreds of acres of this tree farm.
Yeah.
So trails, Tokol is out there, mountain bikers. So, I mean, you rarely run into anybody.
It's in the Snoqualmie Forest. It's part of the Snoqualmie
Yeah.
Forest, so it's
Okay.
a huge area.
Yeah. So we're talking, and I was going to make up some pictures, and maybe we can send them to you later. But, you know, I believe that you and Annie took them. But, you know, we have to cross over rivers, you know, like the Magic Carpet part. And we're like piling through trees and shrubs and, you know, bushwhacking, trying to, with our bikes and moving through these areas.
I'd biked with Annie and Ona before when I was on the team previously. And I had just bought that new gravel bike for Christmas as a Christmas present to myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's got a beautiful bike.
like, it was beautiful, shiny.
But okay, we'll get to that part.
Yes,
but it was your bike, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, and there was other times we stopped and we had some other pictures along the way, and I had individual conversations with you, about some personal matters and getting to know you, and I don't know if I can say this, but I just celebrated 11 years of sobriety in February.
Of course, you could say that. What? Yeah.
And the 12 step is always carrying the message forward. And I know that I was having conversations about, wow, you got 10 years.
We were talking about it because I was on a break from drinking, and then I went back for a little while after the cougar attack, but I just had my 1 year of not drinking. So
wow,
yeah,
congratulations, you guys.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I drink heavily, but I had stopped.
She does not drink heavily.
Well, I did stop drinking.
She still does not.
I've toned it way back. Like halfway in, what was it, like 11 miles or 20 miles in or something?
Well, 19 is what I think.
19 miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going at about 10 miles an hour. So we can track all of the timeline because we have devices. 2 of us had InReaches.
I had my Garmin.
We all had
mine.
a Garmin and a Wahoo, and and so there's timelines that we can really track. And we were going at about 10 or 11 miles an hour because we had just turned a corner and we're kind of going up a road. And Erica and Tish were here. Yeah. I was right behind them, kind of in the middle, but maybe more behind you. And then Auna and Annie were behind me at whatever distance it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
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 I'm not good with spatial relationships, like how many yards and things like that.
Well, they say when you go through something like this, everything slows down. Did that happen for you?
Oh. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
So Auna and Annie were the first ones to see anything because they got the whole picture from behind. And we'll speak for them because they're not here, but they both saw 2 cougars jumping behind me, and Annie says that one turned and tackled me off my bike. That's what they saw from behind. What I saw is a flash of movement on my right side. I turned my head and I saw the face of a cougar. I didn't see anything else, just a face. And then I have a little block of time that I don't remember anything. The next thing, I was on the ground, pinned. You can kind of see the hole in my head right here with the top fang, and then the other fangs were down here. And I was pinned down in a fetal position. That's my next memory. And there were some things that these guys saw that I don't remember, but I had a lot of scratches and bite marks, and and my ears were, which I don't remember any of this, which had to happen when they saw it.
So obviously Annie and Auna are part of our group and aren't here, unfortunately, but so all I heard was an Annie just go, no. So Eric and I are up there, and I'm going to let you speak for yourself, but so I turned around, and like we said, we're going to cry. So I saw Keri like a rag doll through the air. This thing, like, got her. And, like, we were riding that way, so they came up this way. And they were going to go up this way at the last second, the second one. That's their story. But what I saw was that thing. And then when it had her to the ground, it, like, was dragging her back that way. And then, I'll let you do your, because it's, like, in sections, because it's, even though we were all there, there's different, like, we were all, even though we were synergistically, beautifully working together to save lives, there's just so many things that were happening during that time.
And I heard it before I saw anything. I heard the no, and I heard screaming. I heard Ona screaming, "Cougars!" I thought that's what she was screaming, and it turned out that was. But your mind is catching up with what is going on, what your senses are telling you. This can't be happening. This is like, it just can't be happening. And there must be something else. I didn't know who was being attacked, what was going on. I just heard Ona screaming. I turned, I looked at Tish, and we were looking at each other, and it felt like that time period was so long. But the way Keri's told it to us, we were like right there, like as soon. But it felt like that was a really long time. And it felt like it was taking forever for me to get on 911. And it felt like it was taking forever for me to get service because I was pacing back and forth trying to get service because I had nothing until I crossed over to where the attack scene was, went over there, and then I was still pacing.
I'm calling.
911, what are your
We just, someone was attacked by a cougar. One of
where
our
are you?
teammates.
Hold on,
We're
where are
in
you?
the Campbell Global Forest.
Hold on, where are you at?
Where are we? We're in Campbell Global.
You're where?
I don't know what to do.
Okay, you're hiking on a trail? Where did you park at?
We're biking. We're biking. I don't know where we're at right now.
Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to try to find your location, okay? Just 1 second here. Are you with the person that was attacked?
Yeah. It's for,
Where's the cougar at?
it's on top of her, and they're killing it.
Who's
They're killing it with a stone.
who's killing it? The other people?
My teammates. There's four
What?
of us, and one got attacked.
I'm sorry, what?
There's four of us, and one got attacked.
Your phone keeps breaking up, so I can't quite understand.
I know. I don't have any service. I don't know where to go.
From what I could see, like Tisch was gathering weapons and over there, and then I saw once I got there what was happening, and there was a battle. Yeah, it was a battle.
Eric and I at this point are stopped and we're looking at each other, and I don't know if we said it or if it was emotional, but we're like, I just wanted to run. All of a sudden, I'm just staring. That's the ragdoll part, and I want to just start screaming because we're told make yourself big, start screaming. So we're over there going ah, ah, just trying to do anything. I think you're at this point trying to do 911, and I was like, grab a stick rock, and I don't remember anything about my bike, but somehow my bike was over there. So I turned around and I go in the woods, and on the side, I found this big rock and then this big long stick that was about that thing. That rock was huge. So I carry over this rock and this stick. And by the time I had did that and got over there, Auna has like the legs filleted this way, away from Keri. And then, I got this. Annie had the head and her arms. So when I walked over there, it was just like this perfect fillet of the animal. So all I could think of was that big rock, like doing burpees. And that's where I was like, die MRFer, right? Die MRFer. And it wasn't that tame. But I went like 20 or 30 times. Just remember hitting, like I'm from the medical field, and I'm like, I used to be in a code team. I'm like, if we just hit it, it'll release her. And I'm like, that's when I think when you guys really heard, I'm like, die. I'm like.
Kill it. Campbell Global. Come on, you can hold it. Hold the leg up. I'm holding it. I'm holding the button. Hold the leg up. I'm holding the button. You can't hold it.
And then I remember falling back, and I'm like, I gotta get back up. I gotta keep fighting. I just remember sweating so hard and just kept hitting it over and over and trying to stick it and stab it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't release.
I don't have a nut. Somebody hit it with the rock again. It's the rock. It's a big rock. Somebody hold his legs down. Tell him again. Oh, no! Not me.
I heard all of them. I heard them all talking. I couldn't see them because they were all behind me. The cougar was behind me. I could see Annie. She was the only one in the front. And I don't know if it was Tisch or Auna that at one point were saying, I don't have any more strength to lift the rock, because it was a boulder, it was a big rock. One of them said that, and then they just got the strength back, because that was my time in the Jaws was 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. And they continued to fight for the full 55 minutes, but during my 15 minutes, I could hear everything that was going on with these ladies and the fight that they were putting up, and I just my experience was when I was down there just pinned and I was sticking my fingers up his nose. Well, first I was trying to gouge his eyeball out because I thought that's all I could reach. That's the only way to defend myself. But the skin on the eyeball was like leather, and it's like I couldn't get in there because I would have reached in and yanked it out of there if I could have, But so then I tried to put my fingers up his nose, thinking that if he took, had to release me a little bit and I can get away, maybe that would help. But then after about 10 minutes, 2/3 of the way into my time frame, he started crushing down on my face, and it felt like it was just like disintegrating inside, and I felt my back teeth floating around. I thought that and then I took a swallow, and I swallowed just massive blood. I felt like I was swallowing gallons of blood, and I thought I was going to swallow my teeth with it. My teeth didn't fall out, but it felt like it. I don't know what I was feeling. And, so the last 1/3 of my 15 minutes, he was crushing, and I thought if he just shakes his head, he's going to rip my whole freaking face off of my face. And then I felt him like, the only thing I felt was this little scratch right here and this. And all the other stuff, my ears and everything, never felt any of that, which is weird. But then he grabbed my earring somehow and swallowed it. And I could feel it because it's got a clip on it, a real hard clip. And it's like, oh my gosh, there goes my freaking earring, These are the good earrings.
That's what you were
These
thinking?
are the things that I must go through.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, anyway, I rolled to my knees because I thought if he gives me a little break, I'm going to spring. And I couldn't spring at a fetal position. I had to spring from my knees, But when I did that, and he just shoved my face into the dirt, and I started suffocating. And I thought, okay, that's when I thought I was going to die. And I'm like, but they were fighting so hard, It's like I had to keep fighting because they were fighting, And it's like, then whatever somebody did something.
Yeah.
Going back to the beginning, when I saw the road, and I was like, I saw another road that was like an escape route when Tish and I were looking at each other. And I was like, oh my God, we need to get out of here. And then I look back and I see all this stuff going on. And this is before I start dialing 911 and I go over to the scene with my bike. But I'm thinking, I'm terrified. We're dead. I'm thinking as I'm going into that, this is how I die. We're dead. When they said 2 cougars, there's just no way we can.
Yeah. Where was the other cougar?
It ran up the embankment, apparently.
It never came back.
Yeah, it never came back. But we were eyeing it the whole time thinking, it's going to come out. It's going to smell blood, and it's going to come out, and we're going to all get eaten. This is it. And so when I went over there and I'm pacing to get service, I see them battling. I just dropped my phone and my bike in the dirt next to me and picked up a stick. I think Tish handed me. She was like, "This is a good one," and just start stabbing the cougar. We're all just in battle, and all we have is sticks, rocks, our fists to punch. That's all we have. We have nothing, except
So
when Annie says,
Yeah, but we're not. I can't remember, but so at some point you're battling. I'm doing rocks. At some point, Auna said, "Grab the legs." So I took over the legs, and then I remember Auna, there was another rock behind her that was even bigger, like the size of a watermelon. And I just remember, and I know some of this, we've talked about it, we've done things, but I just remember in my mind, what I remember is when she was getting to lay the rock, and this was I guess there was 4 slow motions, and I remember her grabbing that rock to bring over to your head, to the cougar's head, and she's like, "I'm really sorry, Keri."
She didn't want to hit me in the head with the rock.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God, just do it. Who cares,
And it was somewhere during that period of time that, all of a sudden, you're rolling away.
Yeah, whatever happened, any one of
well,
the...
before that happened, remember Annie said, "Erica, I've got a multi-tool in my seat pack."
That's
wow.
it.
That's all we had.
And that's
okay.
and it has a little knife on it.
Fixing your bike.
Yeah, and so I grab it and I'm handing it, and at the same time she's telling me push the button on the SOS. So I go push the button on the SOS, go back, hand her I thought I had pushed it.
I'm holding SOS, but it's not doing anything.
I didn't realize how that thing worked.
It says SOS. Yeah, you should show because
I didn't realize it just says SOS. You push the button. I didn't realize you have to open this flap. So at the time, I thought I pushed it. So meanwhile, my phone's in the dirt, my bike's in the dirt. I hand Annie the tool because my hands are shaking like this. And everybody's hands are shaking. And she grabs it and she's like going to stab. But you know when you're going to stab something, it's like, and we're all going, do it, you know? And then she starts to do it, and the thing just, it's like she's trying to hit a rubber mat. It doesn't do anything. Oh my gosh. So then we all take turns because we're like, well, I can get in. I can do it. So then we're all taking turns with the pocket knife, and it's just like you're hitting carpet with it. It just doesn't do anything. It feels like it's not doing anything. The hide is so thick.
Oh my god.
On the
It
animal.
was rubber, like to your point with the eye, because I used to be on a code team, so I was trying to get in between the intercostal muscles. So I was like filleting open, like trying to get the hair and the skin. But literally, like you said, it was like just rubber. And then you're doing it, and it's just like you're trying.
We're all taking turns, and it's not working. And yeah.
I was also, I'm laying down there and I could speak. I don't know how, but I also said, kill the MF.
Yeah, she said, kill this motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we all wanted to kill that freaking thing, I mean, because like really, I was thinking if I get away, it's going to flip around and get one of them, what else is it going to do? And so I mean, the bike thing was brilliant.
Oh gosh.
That was just, I mean, the stuff that happened in that 55 minutes, we were brilliant. We were amazing.
We were like reading each other's minds. I think somehow you got away. I'm reaching for my bike. I hear Tish say, yes, let's put the bike on top of it.
Yeah, so it's like you see a bear, you do anything, you put your bike up and you hold your bike. I didn't personally touch the bike. I mean, you had to do all that. But
no, we all did it at the same time.
Because if that bike, if we got on top of it, to your point earlier, if that thing gets up, it's going to kill one of us.
I grabbed it because I knew no one is going to grab my brand new bike. Like, I started grabbing it, and then we're right, but everybody's like, yeah. And so it was like before we knew it, we had the bike on top of it, and we're on top of it. And the thing is thrashing beneath us, and it's like we're on top of it, and it's like riding a surfboard because it's moving around, but we at least have something now.
Yeah.
Over it.
So okay, my mind is trying to wrap itself around what the visual is here. So it is off of you.
So this all happened at the same time. I like army crawled to the middle of the road, and then I sat there and I looked back at them, and then the bike was on it. So it happened all kind of at the same time.
It didn't have time to like prowl around like who's
No,
next.
we were acting so quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, we were like all on a mind meld.
A fluid machine.
Yeah. There was no arguments. There was nothing.
We
were just, it was just teamwork.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what was amazing is there was nobody screaming.
I wasn't calm.
Well,
we'll get to that. And then
I wasn't calm.
Well, your mind probably wrapped itself around it later, I'm sure.
Right.
Nobody was hysterical. We were very methodical. Everybody, whether or not
it felt like
we didn't want Keri to die. It was at that point. It was like Keri is one of the most beautiful, awe-inspiring, kick-ass women you would never, ever meet.
That.
And it's like,
and we didn't want to
I don't want her to be murdered. Yeah. And all of us, I wanted the same thing. It was like, this is our woman. She says it away. I can't. She's German, so she has this beautiful, sexy German accent. Yeah. You can't. It's just.
This is our woman.
But yeah. So she's over there. We got the bike now. So now, like, at one point, Annie tries to get up because, like, she's over there, and we keep like, "Are you doing, Keri?" And she's like, these bloody thumbs up. But like, you can tell your story.
Oh no, I'm looking in my, I'm scrambling in my jersey pockets. I've got to have another weapon here somewhere. I'm scrambling. I'm like just trying to find something, and I pull out this pack of Quick Clot. And
wow.
And I rememred that I had put it in, but you know what? I'm like packing my pockets for the ride, and I remembered. So all I did, I just tossed it on the ground.
Because nobody's over Keri. Nobody's with her.
Well, Annie was between them and me, and she didn't know what to do. She's like, they needed her, I needed her.
And for anyone who doesn't know, this is a military grade, bandage for blood, for stopping blood flow,
Yeah,
so that
coagulation.
you don't bleed out. And so that's all I had. And so she puts it on her, and
She threw it at Annie. Annie doesn't know what it is. Annie just slaps it on my
I'm
face.
like, put it on her.
And then Annie went back to help them, and she has one of the boulders at this point, and I hear her saying, "I don't want to hit your bike. I don't want to."
Nobody wants to mess up my bike. We're crazy.
That's a nice
Cyclists
bike.
are crazy. We're like,
I'm still stabbing this thing.
How's the bike now?
and she kept apologizing. I'm sorry about your bike, Erica. I'm sorry about your bike, Erica.
I'm like thrashing the multi-tool between this thing. And then at one point, like as I'm, like there's so many weird parts at this point because everything's happening. But I just remember like the cougar's eye, like as I'm killing it, I'm trying to kill it underneath. The eye, like if you think of the old like Egyptians with all that like black, beautiful, and that gray, brown eye, it was one of the most beautiful exhibits of nature in that eye. And then it was like, I don't know. So it was amazing. We're just
I
killing,
couldn't look at its
stabbing.
eye.
But yeah, at one time Annie like left the first time. That cougar literally left, had to been like 3 or 4 feet. We're like, Annie, get back here.
So this was a sizable cougar. Right?
75 pounds.
Wow.
It was a juvenile male.
12 months old.
Yeah. And so the cougar, when it's full grown, a male is maybe 120, 150 pounds. A female full size is between 70 and 90 pounds. So, but they're all muscle, and they can exert, 400, pounds per inch of pressure.
Especially.
I think I said that right.
Yeah, it is. Because the jaw clamp that we now we're like, not that we're cougar experts.
Yeah, not that
but
we're
we
experts,
know
but
too
we-
much. But like how much pressure, the PSI,
Yeah.
like you said.
I think you're
what the
cougar
exertion.
experts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
At
this
all
point.
muscle. All muscle.
Okay, so we're all fighting, doing whatever, and so all of a sudden we're sitting there, and so I'm looking straight down the trail right there. But then there was other parts though, because Erica's on my left side, and this is what you talked about. It was like, so we're fighting, and Erica to me is like, and here's one of my other long-term stories is like, I used to work as a cardiac rehab therapist 100 years ago, and this Barbara Assman was so loving and kind and touchy, and somehow I've become a very touchy-feely person since this. And I just remember she was always so kind and compassionate, rubbing people. So I'm rubbing Erica with my left arm at the same time killing the cougar, right? Because I'm like, we need you. I remember it taking about 45 minutes, right? By the time the ambulance and the fire trucks came.
There's been so many events in the woods. I don't know.
I didn't have any strength left. I crouched down because I'm like, well, maybe if I put more of my weight on it. But my weight isn't very much. None of us, I mean, we're all, pretty small women. And so I'm crouched down, and my legs just gave out. I mean, it was a long battle. And so we're standing and trying to fight and stomp the bike into the cougar at this
Is there
point.
ever a point where you think this thing's going to come out from under the bike?
Yeah. Well, every time we slow our pace and we start relaxing because we're tired and breathing, they do have 9 lives. And Ona kept reminding us of this. She's like, remember, these things have 9 lives. We can't stop fighting. We got to keep fighting. And then she'd say, we got to keep our eye out for that second cougar.
Yeah.
So while we're trying to battle this thing, we're looking and we're like, when's it going to come and kill us? And so I am so upset because I am thinking, this is how it ends. Like, this is how we're going to die. There's nobody coming to rescue us. It's taking so long to get somebody to help us. By this point, Ona had picked up my phone, and she was on the 911 call.
So she had service?
She
Yeah,
did.
she
It was
did.
your phone, right?
She did. Yeah, it was my phone. So she was finally on talking to someone. She's like, we need a gun, and someone with a gun and a helicopter.
Yeah.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
You have the location on the receiver. Yeah, you have your location on our receiver right now, and 911. We have a cougar attack in Kangaroo Global, and we
need
have
the
a one
location.
rider down.
I need the location, please.
The location is on the phone.
Is anyone
And you
injured?
need, yes. We need a helicopter immediately. We need air helicopter immediately into the location. We have a rider down, bleeding heavily in our face. He got attacked in the
Just a
face.
moment, please. Just a moment, please.
And we need somebody with a gun to kill the cougar. We're holding the cougar down with a bike right now. So we need multiple situations. We need an air, probably a helicopter for the location, and we need and we need somebody who can take care of the cougar.
And so, but I was so upset, and I'm trying to battle this thing, and I'm also feeling this immense sense of, I just want to kill this. And I've never felt that urge to kill anything before, ever in my life, wanting to kill something. And we hadn't eaten anything since that 10 miles, right? We're in this battle, and Tish is rubbing my back. She's comforting me, you know, while she's trying to kill this predator. And it was just so surreal how it was happening. And
So you're being tended to by Annie. Auna's on doing 911.
What trail are you on?
We went onto gate 2 into Gamble Global.
Gate 2 and what? I'm sorry, what?
We came into gate 2 into Campbell Global, but we have left there, and we are an hour into the area where there's no access. Our coordinates. I've got them exactly on my GPS. No, I don't have them. We need to have a helicopter here. And
Does somebody have the coordinates?
yes, okay. The coordinates are N 47.6225516 by W. It's coming by W 121.795916.
They were asking Auna where we were at.
Oh, the coordinates.
We're out in the middle of the woods. We don't know where we're at. But Annie was able to get the coordinates off the InReach, translate it to Auna, who got it to 911.
Well, as this is all happening,
Yes.
she has the ability
This is
to
after-
figure
We're
out.
standing.
This is after I got away. They're
so
all
we're-
just
Right,
holding
but
it
I
down.
just
Yeah.
am so impressed that someone has the
Yes.
ability to think that clearly to find coordinates on a device that they may or may not have
Yes.
ever had to find coordinates
they
for,
were
right?
telling us what they needed on the 911 call, and she actually had to read them twice. And I'm like, I was so exasperated because I'm like, why do we have to give you these
You're
twice?
like,
Aren't you
right.
like
Somebody write this
right,
down.
Right. Yeah, exactly right.
It was
Yeah.
crazy, but it was, again, it was so calm. Like, and I know Annie, they're not here. I wish they could be, but, and Annie's like, no, I was great. I was so, if you watch the delivery of their communication skills, to me, I that's why I was like,
We
give me
are
one
right
second.
now. We have a bicycle on top of the cougar that we are holding him down with, but he is fighting back. And there was a second cougar. Yeah,
All right, and the person that's hurt, where have
Yes.
they been bitten, scratched, where?
in the face. In the face.
and they literally, I mean, we were doing everybody had a purpose. We're still, and mind you, the cougar's still being crazy, right? I want gone, bye. And then during when all this is happening, all of a sudden down the trail, I'm like, there's like two bikers.
People were coming.
And I'm like, then it's our team colors. I'm like, it's Danny and Elise.
They're
And
on
I'm
our
like,
team.
Yeah, they're on our team. And I'm like,
We all saw
Keri's
them.
been attacked by a cougar,
Yeah.
and we're on the cougar. And all of a sudden, Elise was just there.
Yeah.
And then you heard
wow.
it.
We had more weight. It was so
Yeah.
great. I mean, it was so great.
I was laying in the road because they told me to lay down at this point, and I was looking down the road. So I think we all kind of saw them at the same time. It was like out of nowhere, and I don't know how many minutes in it was.
It's like 30, 35. I'm sorry, track coach.
Yeah,
my
like
thing.
35 minutes in. And so Elise was like medically trained, kind of
Yeah,
an
yeah.
adventure something. I don't
The
know.
Wolfa.
yeah.
So she was, kind of telling Annie how to help me out. And then Daniel came over, and I don't know.
he
He
had
got on the
another
bike
one.
with us and was like hugging us. We were all huddled together.
Was it like, I'll take over? Or
No.
was
No,
it,
we all
okay.
took
It wasn't
but
like
he
that. It was
had-
helping.
He had
Yeah.
another device that actually had like a file on it. And he
Okay.
was trying. So, and then Annie looks at me over there because Annie, I'm emotional. I have anxiety. I have some stuff. And she's like, Tish, not now. You got to suck that up. And I got back. I got my poise. I got to keep fighting.
But you were also comforting me, so you were, because I had anxiety as well at that point. I mean,
I think we all had
everybody said it was
anxiety.
calm, but I don't know. I don't remember it being calm. I remember everyone was like we were all doing, but it was still
Like, when they
terrifying.
Did
Absolutely.
anybody else get bit or
You
injured
guys
by
have
the
stories,
cougar at all?
I just had holes in my gloves, my shoes, from kicking on or stomping on the claws, and then we had gloves on. I mean,
I had a little. That's all I got. Nothing to my hand.
I had bruises on my knuckles. That was it.
But Annie and Auna did go to the med check because they had some. Annie had a scrape or something.
Auna had a sprained finger or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did.
And Annie had a scratch or a bite or something on her hand. But it could have been terrible, but it was actually like pretty amazing.
Daniel's like, and I think that's another thing. I know that they haven't been part of this, but Danny and Elise are a huge part of the story.
They were our angels that
Yeah.
day.
They
were our
was.
angels. I still call them that when I see them. I'm like, there's my angel.
Oh my God.
And we're all adventure people. Like, what's that really cool one? The Tour Divide. I mean, all of us aren't just like
Annie's done it too.
We're a bunch of 60-year-old and maybe a little 51-year-old that goes out and rides.
No, we've all done hardcore racing and training.
Like hardcore. And we'll get that later. But so we're still fighting, battling. So now we're like, Auna's still like talking on her phone, like getting time. Like we're thinking, how much longer, right?
Yeah, we have a cougar attack out in Snoqualmie Valley Trail. So
Okay, what's the address?
all we have is a Latin long so far.
Okay.
All of a sudden we hear a truck.
Yeah, then the next person, well, I don't know if Quinn was
I thought he was after. I don't remember. Do you remember Quinn?
Yeah, but you guys are skipping still ahead of.
Okay, keep going.
We had I had my seat pack on my bike, right? And so we open up my seat pack.
That's right.
And Tish pulls out the tube and she's like, maybe we could strangle the cougar with it. now,
Hey,
that. Yeah,
we're trying to think of everything we can do at this point. And it's just, and I'm like, well, but we're going to have to wrap it around its head and we can't really get under the bike to do that. But we're trying to this is the desperate type of situation we were in. I mean, we're just trying to think of anything we can do so that we don't have to continue the terror. And yeah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that the problem solving, like no one of us could have gotten out of there, but the five of us problem solving together and how everybody worked together got us out of there, you know? I mean, all of us could have been... And all of us have scars. Just because I have them on my face, all of us have our own individual story about this, and it's different. Each one of us' story is different, but we all suffered. You know, we all suffered, and we all have scars from this, and we are all heroes, and we're all victims. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah. And
well said. Well said.
We could end it right there, but there's like a whole nother 30 minutes to go. So to your point, though, as we're standing there doing all this, you know, because I was standing next to where the other cougar would have been, and I did, for some reason, Men in Black keep coming up, but it was like you triage this way, and you were just, and at the same time, you're MacGyvering in your head, like, I'm looking at all the different bikes, like, if that other one came back, it was like, I don't think I could have out-MacGyvered it, because we had the bike, you're over there.
That was a terrifying prospect.
And like,
the second cougar.
I couldn't think of any way else if the other one came back, and I'm thinking somebody would have died that day. The outcome was beautiful, and it's a beautiful story, but the what ifs, and I know we talked about, I couldn't talk about the what ifs for many months afterward because it could have been a whole different outcome.
So the thing I wanted to say is that all of us have bear spray. None of us, I think, at that time had knives, but we didn't bring our bear spray with us that day because it was going to be just a short little ride, you know, and so we were very, like, sometimes we'd bring it and sometimes we wouldn't. And now I think every time we're all out there with our bear spray and we all have knives.
We all have huge buck knives now.
Yeah, because a weapon is important, you know, and bear spray is important, you know. It's like...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, how I can't wrap my head around why this attacks you while you're riding your bike.
I think it triggered the movement. We were going like 10, 11 miles an hour, and just the movement triggered it because the other ladies said that they saw them. They looked like they were both going to pass behind me, and the one just like had a change of heart and went for me, you know. And the other one continued on.
He made a mistake.
Yeah, he did.
I think now that we're cougar experts, I almost said my comment. I'll wait for that one. is that they usually don't travel in the day. Usually it's dusk and dawn. But the wildlife people, and obviously I'm not quoting, I'm not expert in wildlife people, I'm sorry, but they said because the juvenile, it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was in the middle of the day. And they just saw an opportunity, and I think they took it, and they were young.
But I also don't go with the statistics of dusk and dawn because the guys in California were middle of the day.
Right.
So, yeah. And I also don't go with, it's a rare thing and it never happens because
Exactly.
it does happen.
Yeah.
You know?
We've taken over their land.
But they've also made laws that make it harder for hunters, and they used to pay bounties.
Okay.
They don't do that anymore. So there have been a confluence of factors that have contributed to the population.
So the last I heard you say was they were driving down the road. There was a truck coming.
Yes.
What was that like for you when you saw the truck and what happened?
That was not Sergeant Pace. That was another officer.
Oh, that was Officer Horn.
Oh, yeah, Officer Horn. Yeah. And he got out of the car, and I'm like, why is he moving so slow? He was just like,
It was
just
slow.
looking over here.
It's not like the movies where they come out and they just like, get back.
Yeah.
Was the thing still alive at this point?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
it's alive, and the other one, so they had to secure the perimeter first. And this is where the men in black thing, you know, when they sit there and they're all sitting looking around. So they actually maneuvered. There was a couple of them. So remember, there was like a couple because they wanted to protect our area in case the other one came back.
And we had to stay where we were.
So we were
on top
still
of the
until,
cougar.
and they, I think the 911 were tending to carry at this point, but I don't
No,
remember.
they weren't there
Oh,
yet.
really?
So Officer Horn first came over to me and Annie, and Annie's like, "Don't worry about her." You know, I know she didn't say that, but she's like, "Get the freaking cougar."
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
the threat
Yeah.
here. You know.
Oh, one thing we forgot to mention, and this is your story, you and Annie, but didn't you notice there was pictures in the middle of this crazy attack?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
They got all the photographs.
So-
right?
No.
Yes.
No, so
Listen.
I got away. Annie's like not knowing where to go, me or them. And I said, take pictures. We have to document this. And so she shot
Keri.
one shot at them, one shot at me, and then threw the phone down and went back to work.
That's funny because, and I'm not trying to bring this on me at all, but I've been in a similar situation.
Right.
And I remember vividly telling Emmett, my videographer, you had better get this on film.
Yeah.
Right.
Like somehow I had the mind to be like, somebody film this.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we had a GoPro, life would have been good.
Or it would be terrifying.
I had more trauma.
Yeah.
I would be institutionalized. No, so they're perimeter. And so Erica is where Keri is right now. And the officer, I remember Daniel was in there too. And he said, "Sir, please back up. I'm going to do this slowly. I'm going to tell you all what to do." And he's like, "Daniel, back up." I'm in therapy working on this part right now, so I might lose a little bit.
Yep.
So he moves out. And then he comes between both of us. I remember everything.
Not me.
No,
Them.
it's Erica. It's Erica. So I'm here. And he's right-handed. So his hand goes between the two of us. You're here.
Yeah.
And all the way down. And I remember I just felt like his hand touched me
said,
all the
"Don't
way down.
move."
Yeah. And it's just,
Stay still.
and I thought it was going to be the loudest thing. And it was just this. And it's like, you need to stay on it for like another 15 to 20 minutes. And so
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
they brought, you had that red Gatorade thing. So we're talking, socializing. They're saying to her,
Me and Tish are on the dead cougar.
with Alan, and I'm talking about GoFundMe's because I know that you need money, and yeah, it was just, and we're just talking like we're on cougar, you're over there, and I'm like, this is when it became for me really, really surreal. Like we fucking just survived.
We just survived.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm such a crybaby.
Yeah, it was
Incredible. The best story ever.
It was in slow motion, though, because it was like they're so slow. I know, Keri, it is the best that we all had this great outcome. But thinking back on it and thinking about that moment, I mean, even when I hear a gun pop now, I think about it. And I can't watch any show now where I can't watch any TV show, and I love violent shows. I can't watch anything where somebody is fighting for their life or desperate to live, or your podcast being an exception. I did watch those videos. But when I hear that gun pop, I think about it. And And the fact that we had to stand there and we couldn't get off. And who knows, there could have been a rock under it. It could have ricocheted again. I mean, there's a lot of things that could have happened, but thankfully everything
Officer Horn
turned
was a
out.
hot dude, though, man. That's what got me through it. I am a cougar. I am a cougar. No,
You didn't tell your cougar joke.
I know.
yet.
I had
You gotta tell
I'm
them.
good. Yeah. Us cougars took down that cougar.
Yeah, that's right. She always loves to say that. Nope,
We
that
get that a
cougar
lot.
wasn't going to get these cougars. Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
No,
Oh my gosh.
So then that was there's it keeps going, right? Because now we're looking at Keri. Well, no. So this is one. So Quinn is another teammate. So all of a sudden now, like, I think he said he came from a trail from the other side. I don't know where, but Tanya was talking to him, and Quinn is the most adventure dude out there all by himself. Blah blah. All these, and I'm like, what do you do for safety? And he goes, well, I have a gun. And I'm like, where do you keep it? And it was on his top 2 bag. And I'm like, well, that wouldn't have bleep helped you
It's not
today.
going to do anything.
Who's he?
Another teammate that came riding out
Oh,
of
another
nowhere.
one of your teammates.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I was thinking he was like part of the rescue team.
No.
And I believe that there's such a higher power in this world and God that what are the odds that Danny Elise recycled cycles, Quinn recycled cycles, like what?
I had just joined the team, and this was my first ride back. And as Keri, you said, we needed all hands on
Yes.
deck. I mean,
Yeah.
we need all hands on deck.
Everybody equally
Contributed.
to this event. Yeah.
And I don't know what the hospital said about you having the quick clot on your...
I think, everybody praises Erica. She's actually giving Quick Clot a lot of business because she had
I've been giving it to people.
Yeah.
I give bear spray to everybody. That's my.
Quick Clot can sponsor this episode if you like. Feel free. That'd be great.
But the other thing too is the bear spray. You know, Costco is the mothership is in Issaquah. But one of the things I know we all are on the same thing, but awareness and education of properly recreating with the appropriate supplies. Because my new thing is when I learn people, do you hike? Do you do whatever? Do you carry anything? Oh, no. And I might go, well, I was one of the cougar people. And so I've probably given away 6 or 7 bear sprays now.
Same.
Yeah.
I give them away all the time.
If you can save that one life.
I want to carry 2.
Well, I mean, I go buy them, but Costco has a really good deal with 2-pack. But it's just remarkable, unfortunately, and I'm talking about me because I don't want to insult anyone, but how unequipped for that particular day I was when I went in the woods with beautiful.
So looking back on it, what would you have done differently?
As I was laying there with trying to protect my throat, I was thinking a neck knife would have been useful to me, or if I had something on my thigh, if I couldn't have reached down and grabbed it, one of these guys could have grabbed it off my leg. I don't want to carry a gun. I considered it in this past year, and I've gone to the gun range. I've actually shot guns quite a bit in my younger years, but I don't really feel like that's the answer for me. I feel like bear spray and a knife is what I need to have.
Yeah, I ended up, I did get my concealed weapon permit, and I did acquire that, but because I'm experiencing so much PTSD, that right now I'm not equipped
Sure.
there. So I think in time, but if I do, it's like, driving a car is a privilege. That once I would take all the classes, understand how to shoot, do a lot of practicing, and really think long and hard because it's a privilege to carry a weapon in our world.
Mm-hmm. I carry a big buck knife. It's like a sidearm, and I've learned how to use it. I watch videos and I practice getting it in and out of the holster. I also carry bear spray and the Quick Clot, obviously, and a complete medical kit with a space blanket.
Wow. Yeah. I feel like the other people that I've interviewed who've had similar, traumatic situations happen, many of them weren't able to get to their bear spray. It was deep in their backpack, or it was in a place where they couldn't reach to it fast enough or whatever. I used to teach concealed carry classes back in the day, so I know how important it is to have something at the ready, but that's incredible.
I do have a firearm, but I'm not prepared to bring it on the trail. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like if I would have had it, sure, maybe would have shortened our time, or my hand would have been shaking so bad.
Right,
I would have been like, okay, everybody, am I going to shoot the animal or am I going to shoot my friend? So it's, I don't know. Something would have been great though.
Well, they say when it's something of extreme, your body, your hands go numb, your fingers don't seem to work very well.
Right.
Your blood just goes to the main places that it's trying to protect, and you can't do what you'd think you would normally be able. Did you experience that at all?
Oh, yeah. When I was trying to dial 911, I couldn't get my gloves off. It
Yeah.
was like, why is this so hard?
Yeah.
Why is this so hard to push buttons on my
Sure.
phone?
So I'm an exercise physiologist and I love data. So I wear a heart rate monitor, and it was interesting. And I didn't look at it for many months later, but I looked at my heart rate data, and at that moment when that happened, I was like 110, because we're really, really fit. We're just not out there recreating being like, let's go have fun. But at that moment of the attack, my heart rate went from like 190 for the next 24 minutes, and it was about 180, 170, and it trickled off. So to actually see that the physiology of that happening is just unbelievable.
Your body's incredible. I mean, what it can do in situations like that.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
what you went through with rhabdo. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
that was just a miracle.
Yeah.
A true miracle that you're sitting here.
Yeah. 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 This isn't my story, though, but yeah.
I know, but I just watched it and I was like, wow,
Yeah. Thank you.
you can relate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you leave, and we're like, oh my gosh. Well, they wouldn't let us leave. So now it's the rest of us, Dana, Lise, the rest of us curl up in a little huddle.
Yeah.
And they put those yellow blankets on us. And we're all, at this point,
We're freezing. We haven't eaten.
And-
we haven't had anything. And it's
so
cold.
Officer Horn, he had spicy Doritos and some Gatorades.
And he had Starburst.
Oh, yeah. He's like, you guys need to put the sugar back in your body, right? So we're all just sitting there talking. And at this point, like, we need to call Keri's family. We got to call our kids.
Yeah.
I call my daughter Ashley. It's a Saturday in the woods. And like I said, the last 2 Februaries in Washington, Ashley broke my hip. Ashley broke my pelvis. Ashley, we've been attacked by a cougar. I'm like, and it was so hard to have to say, it's not me, but I terrified her. She's like, oh my God, and is she okay? I said, do you have Kendall and Alexa's number? Because we did the Unbound together. That's where that came from. And she's like, no. So then we're thinking, who else can go over and tell our kids? And that's where Darren Nelson is, one of our also biker friends. And so we called Darren, and you probably know the story better because it's your story.
Well, I think he just appeared at my door, and Kendall doesn't ever answer the door, but she
Kendall's her
answered
daughter.
at that door.
Kendall's your daughter.
And I don't know, my situation, I wasn't thinking really of anybody else but myself, but several months later, my 2 daughters told me how traumatized they were.
Oh, yeah.
But like Kendall finding out by Darren just showing up at she thought he was joking, Your mom's in the hospital attacked by a cougar. But, all of our families have, I mean, how do you react to something like that? Actually, I don't
How
know
do you
what's
even,
going on
when
in
you
this
can't even
part of the
comprehend it
story.
yourself?
Yeah.
And it took me a month to even be able to talk about it. I couldn't even comprehend in the moment that this was happening. I completely dissociated. It was like, just to realize that this was happening and I was a part of it was just incomprehensible at the time. I can't even imagine how they felt.
Yeah. Well, even everybody from the beginning was saying hero, hero, hero. And these guys are like,
We're not heroes.
No.
We're
And
just
I'm
doing
like-
what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, and I'm like,
You know?
how can you possibly say you weren't heroes? Because I'll tell you, from all my looking at YouTubes and stuff, people will help their friend. They'll grab the legs and do the tug of war with the cougar, but these guys were on it,
Sure,
know?
yeah.
They weren't like...
Yeah.
Trying to pull her away. Yeah.
I just am so incredibly grateful that they handled it the way they did, I mean, they didn't drag me. There was no tug of war with that cougar. That cougar was just pure power,
But
we wanted to
Keri,
kill it.
you would have done the exact
Absolutely.
same thing.
None
I
of
know
us-
that for
none
a
of us know
fact
what we would have
because,
done. I don't
but
know.
I know her now in a way that I didn't know before. And Keri will help anyone, even a stranger, on. And so I am very confident that you would have done the exact same thing to save any of our lives.
You were there twice for me.
Yeah.
I have fallen over bikes. And you were right there.
I've seen you help strangers, so I don't want to hear that. You're a
Anyway,
hero. And
They won the Carnegie Award, and they didn't even have to think about it.
It's a huge
usually
honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
it's a huge honor. I've got the lapel
Yeah.
pin. She's got the
all
actual
received
That's
medal.
ones,
amazing.
actually. And if you want to take it out, it says on the back, if you want to read it.
We'll get some video of that for sure, but that's amazing.
It's the highest
it's John
civilian-
1513.
The
it
highest
started
on
civilian-
the medal.
1904 by Andrew Carnegie, and there's been over 10,000 awards. I have
Okay.
done so much research on Andrew Carnegie.
I want to say why I'm wearing this goofy shirt.
I'm excited to hear about this because when I found out about this sweater, I was like, she's got to wear the sweater.
Well, I don't like just wearing it around because people think I'm weird, but
I think it looks cool actually.
Yeah.
when I got in the ambulance, they started cutting off all my expensive stuff, and I'm like, no, man, just can you cut it in a good place where I could sew it back together later? And so this one was just tatters, and I'm like, I want it, don't throw it away. And our good friend Auna, who was the 911 caller, is a craftsperson, and she's way better than me for sure. But she did these things on her wool stuff that the moths have eaten, and she said it's celebrating the whole. You're celebrating the life of the sweater, and I'm like, well, this sweater has had some life. And
Jeez.
I hacked it together, but it's my artwork, and I just, I think it's
I don't ever
Awesome.
think I've seen the
I
back.
love it.
No, and it's
The
like
back of
all
it.
the places where the cougar.
yeah.
got
This is
her.
where it
Yeah.
got me the worst. Is on my shoulder, and then it must have reached around and got me in different places. But yeah. I got a sweater that tells the story because they wouldn't give me a claw and they wouldn't give me a tooth.
Yeah, they
The
wouldn't give us
fur.
any of the good stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I
Wonder why
really
that is.
wanted that.
Somebody's going to comment and tell us why.
Sergeant Pace came to the hospital to take my statement, and he comes around the corner with some flowers, and then he started crying when he saw me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what a sweet man.
Who's he?
The Fish and Wildlife man.
And
He was on scene. He
Okay.
came on, and he started the investigation of the attack.
What has recovery been like for you?
So all my stuff was just, scars that healed up, but my teeth don't really line up right now. I've got metal down my face in 2 places, and my ears have healed amazing, and my face has healed pretty freaking good. I
Yeah,
have
looks
some
amazing.
cool scars.
Looks really good. Looks better than the pictures.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and I can open my mouth now. I can chew fairly well, and I am so grateful to Harborview and everybody there. I do suffer from my concussion still, because I went out. All of us went out like 2 months later, and I thought that I'm like, I'm getting back on it. I'm going to do it, and we all went out on a rainy day. And there was, rivers of water coming down the double track, and we probably shouldn't have been out. And I wasn't really ready to be out on that stuff. And I had a second accident and had a pretty severe concussion.
Oh, jeez.
And so it compounded probably had a concussion when the cougar tackled me, and then definitely had the concussion 2 months later, and I'm paying for it now because I'm not recovered over a year later. I don't know if or when I will be, but I'm still not back to work. I went back to work for 4 months in the summertime, and it was mind-boggling. I couldn't do it, work on the computer. So, yeah, it's changed my life, and it's changed where I'm going, but I'm so grateful for everything. Everything. My gratitude is amplified, and my love of people is amplified, and my looking at the sunny day is just I get to do this today, so it's there's so many good things, and whatever happens rolling forward will happen. I'm okay. I can ride my bike. I can't ride it like I used to, but and I have my
She's
people.
kicking my butt.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so and everybody's recovering. We're all recovering. People ask me a lot because of my face, but all of us are recovering from this. It
Sure.
affected all of us.
How about you?
So I have suffered from mental health and anxiety and depression my whole life. So I knew, like, when I got back, I immediately called a therapist. And, I have PTSD pretty bad. So I took disability last year. And it was really helpful. I found a wonderful counselor. But 2 weeks ago, I was let go from my job. And that's a different story. But so I'm back on disability and really working with the therapist. And I have episodes of flashbacks out there, and it's pretty severe. But I keep doing it. I keep putting myself out there. It's been a journey, but you know what? And I know, Dan, we talked about it, but I have my business plan. I'm working my LLC because I would like to do what you do for a podcast for mental health, talking about the badass people in the world that no matter what you encounter, that, mental health, other kind of parts of life never have to stop you. You walk through those dark times, but there's so much beauty and excellence in people in your life and community that make it all worth it. And so even though all this crazy stuff happened the last 2 weeks, I've never been more excited and peaceful in my life to live life. So I'm really excited.
You are definitely alive.
Yeah, I haven't felt this good. I can't tell you when. So
I think you'd make a great podcaster. Like you should do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I mean, I definitely had PTSD, and I've also had post-traumatic growth. Big time. I mean, my lease on life is like, I always had pretty good perspective, I thought, but kind of like Keri, I wake up every day and I'm grateful to be alive. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I get excited about breakfast, what I'm going to eat for breakfast,
I do too.
I'm just like that, like a kid.
Yeah.
And especially in the whole year, I've had a lot of clarity because I haven't had any alcohol. I quit drinking after the cougar attack. And so that also helped with that. And I needed to do that so that I could have healing and clarity. Yeah. But just my mates, like they're my mates and they're my friends. And all 5 of us are, we're like sisters. And I feel like I have just this unconditional love for them. And also I'm just so thankful to God and my family. My family's just so amazing. I can't imagine how terrified they were. My friends, I mean, I'm just so blessed to have my career and just everything in my life. I'm just extraordinarily grateful.
So let me ask one question. I ask this to everybody that I interview who's gone through a traumatic situation like this, and it seems like an odd question to ask, but I think it's a interesting one to talk through is, if you could go back in time and remove this whole situation from ever happening, would you do it?
I wouldn't. Because I'm first one to respond, right? And it's like, I'm the most like traumatic from this, but I believe everything's predestined in this world and already, and we're given the skills to walk through this. And even though right now it seems really crazy, I believe there's a strength and character that I don't think I ever knew I had.
Sure.
And I don't know, life just happens and crazy, and I'm like, oh. And I wish you wouldn't have gotten hurt, but you're alive. But there's something spirited about this. I mean, it's taken away some innocence, but I don't know. It's scary, cool, indifferent, ambivalent, but I wouldn't take it away.
I know there's absolutely no way I would pass up this incredible story. And all of us suffer in our bike rides, and it's like, this sucks, man. We suffer and we put our bodies through crazy stuff, but the reward that we get at the end of it is so huge. And I feel like this thing was suffering and the rewards are huge, and I wouldn't give it up for anything.
That's good. That's a good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah.
Would I ever go back in time and say, no, I didn't want this to happen? Oh, man, that's such a philosophical question. And I'm an existentialist by nature. And so I have to say I wouldn't take it back because I believe also that, God has a plan for us, and we're supposed to learn, and we're learning and growing, and that I wouldn't want to be terrified, and I wouldn't want Keri to be in pain. My only thing was I wouldn't want her to suffer like that.
Well, if you wanted anyone listening to this to have a takeaway, what would it be?
I have so many takeaways. Safety, bear spray, knives, live life, enjoy your time. Don't waste it on the couch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I agree. Awareness, education, bring even like, oh, I'm just going to wherever. It's like, hey, I'm going to the supermarket. I'm not going to wear my seatbelt, and then you get in a car accident and die. So it no matter what you do when you leave the house, like I have a whole like algorithm that I do. I even practice like if something were to happen, how am I, like you said. The other part is that one of my learning things is that last year I withdrew into myself, and I just couldn't get myself out, where I had these beautiful lady resources everywhere around. I needed them, and I didn't know what to do. And with wonderful therapy is that today I can be, hey, things are happening, I need your help. So don't walk away from the things and the people that are so close to you that are going to be there and have your side and have your ass, like on a cougar attack.
I think you got to live life to the fullest. You know, do what you want to do now. Don't wait to be happy. People are always like, when I get this, then I can relax. When I get this goal, then I can do it. No. That's not how life is. You just got to do it now, because we never know, when our time's going to come. And that's been my biggest takeaway. And the other one, also being prepared. Of course, I'm into that. And like Tish said, if you need help, ask for it. There are going to be mental health implications for all of us, I think, for a while. Maybe they'll come and go, but there's no shame in getting counseling. There's no shame in saying, yes, I was diagnosed with PTSD. Who wouldn't have, it's completely reasonable for that to happen. And there's no shame in it.
Yeah.
yes, thank you so much for letting
Yes,
us.
thank you.
We could talk.
We like to talk. yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting us tell our story.
I was so excited when you guys said yes. So super cool.
It's great to meet you.
Yeah. Well, thanks, you guys. Appreciate it. And yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.